Java Dharma class. So we'll start with Mangala Charan with Ananga Mohan Prabhu. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Dandavad Prams. Ananga Mohan Prabhu.
Dandavad Prams to one and all. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagahana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadudam Parijna Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaga Nalalita Vishakan Vitam Sha Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnanjanashalakaya Chakshurunmitamina Tasma Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namane Vandyaham Shri Guruvaram Shri Rupanuga Pravaharam Vajarasarasikam Cha Narayanam Tam Prapananam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prasthaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktitam Cha Kripa Murtim Narayanim Shri Krishna Lila Katani Sudaksha Madhurya Madhurya Gunashta Yuktam Varam Varanam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Sirasi Namami Namo Vishnu Padaya Shri Keshava Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Vamaniti Namane Gaurabhava Mayodeya Ujjval Rasa Bhavaka Bhakti Vedanta Vamano Raga Bhakti Pavartaka Guru Damicha Seva Suvaishnavi Sarvatamati Grante Bhagavata Sakshit Goswami Vedante Rate Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashchita Deshatarani Namo Vishnu Padaya Acharya Sima Rupane Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshaviti Namne Atimadra Charitra Svarsitancha Palani Jeevid Dukhi Sarataya Shri Name Prema Dayani Gora Rastya Vigrahaya Krishna Kameka Charani Rupanuga Pravaraya Vinodedi Swarupani Prabhu Padan Tarangaya Sarva Sadguna Saline Mayavadya Tamognaya Vedante Tvare Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati iti Namne Shri Vaishabhani Devi Daitaya Kripadvaye Krishna Sambandha Vignan Daini Prabhe Namaha Madhurojva Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namosude Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtadina Tarne Rupanuga Viruddha Vasidanta Dvanti Harini Namagora Kishore Sakshad Veriga Murte Ma Bhakti Vinod Sachidananda Namne Gora Shakti Swarupaya Ayate Gora Virvas Puvestam Nindesa Sakya Vaishnava Sarvamosha Jagannatayate Namaha Vanchakalpatru Bhaisha Kripasundubha Ivacha Patitanam Pavan Bill Vaishnava Namo Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradaya Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurati Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jigapate Gopi Sukapurika Kantara Kanta Namosute Tattva Kanchana Gaurangi Vaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vedam Surato Pangur Mama Mandar Matar Gati Matsarvasa Padam Boja Radha Madana Mohano Divyarvindaranya Kalpa Dhrumadra Srimat Nagar Simhasanastu Srimad Radha Shula Govinda Deva Pristala Bhi Sevamano Smarami Sriman Rasa Rasambaya Karsham Venu Swadhi
Gopi Gopinath
Vindya
Shri
Pulasideva Priyaya Keshava
Krishna
Bhakti Pade Devi Sarvate Namo Panchatattvatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavatam Bhaktikyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare 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 Rama
Rama Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha श्रीयुतं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकयः चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. First of all, offer my millions of obeisances to lotus feet of Asmadya Guru Pad Padma Nitila Prashta Jagat Guru Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. And then offer obeisances to lotus feet of Trinendi Sannyasi Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Reddy Maharaj Namnishta Santa Shri Aniruddhas Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. I offer my humble obeisances. So today we are going to discuss chapter number 7, Nitya Dharma and Material Existence. Over the ages, countless goldsmiths had lived in the ancient mercantile town of Saptagram on the bank of Saraswati River. By Sri Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, since the time of Sri Uddharan Datta, these merchants had become addicted to Harinama Sankirtana. Uddharan Datta Thakur. Uddharan Datta was a great devotee actually. He was Uddharan Datta Thakur. He was from actually there was actually one Gaudiya Math also was founded by the name Shri Uddharan Gaudiya Math in Chinchuda. And when Srila Gurudev was living there, he once repeatedly requested Shri Gurudev's younger brother, means Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj had a younger brother. His name was Shri Pulin Vihari Guha Thakurta, to write a booklet about Srila Gurudev's life, beginning with his childhood until the time that he joined the Math. This he did, and on the request of our godbrothers, Sri Yamini Kanta Das, MEBT, Jirat High School's very able principal wrote Srila Gurudev's biography in Bengali poetry based on this booklet. So, Uddharan Datta Thakur, he was from Goldsmith family. That's why in his memory this Uddharan Gaudiya Math in Chinchuda was formed. So here, one of them, however, was a very miserly person by the name Chandidas. He was a very miserly person who used to abstain from Hari Kirtan with the townspeople because he was afraid of having to spend money for sponsoring festivals. Chandidas had managed to accumulate a good deal of wealth through stingy dealings. His wife Damayanti had adopted the same mood and did not extend even the least hospitality to Vaishnavas or other guests. This merchant couple in their youth had given birth to 4 sons and 2 daughters. The daughters had both married and a vast inheritance was reserved for their sons. If saintly people never visit a house, the children in it are less likely to become kind and compassionate. As the sons grew up, they become increasingly selfish and begin to wish that their parents would die so that they could have their inheritance. The merchant couple became extremely unhappy. One by one, the sons were married. As their wives grew older, they imbibed their husband's nature and also began to wish that their parents-in-law would die. After some time, the sons became proficient in business and began to oversee the buying and selling very expertly. Dividing up most of their father's wealth, they set up their own businesses. One day, Chandidas called everyone to his side and said, "Listen, I have lived a frugal existence since childhood, and as a result, I have managed to set aside a great fortune for all of you. I have never eaten fine food or dressed in luxurious clothes, and your mother has also lived in a similar manner. It is your duty to care for us now that we are growing old. But we have become increasingly distressed recently because we have begun to feel that you are neglecting us. I still have some hidden wealth, and I will give it to whichever of my sons will be good enough to take care of us." Chandidas' sons and daughters-in-law heard his words silently, and then went off to a separate place to conspire among themselves. They concluded, it will be best to send mother and father away, then take possession of their hidden wealth and divide it into amongst ourselves. For there is really no telling to whom the old man will give it unjustly. All of them were sure that the wealth was buried in their father's bedroom. One morning at dawn, Chandidas' eldest son Haricharan went to his father and with faint humility said, and Dear father, you and mother should go and take darshan of Shri Navadvip Dham at least once, so that your human life will become successful. I heard that no other holy place is as beneficial in this age of Kali as Shri Navadvip Dham. It will not be troublesome or expensive for you to go there, and if you are unable to walk, we can hire you a boat to take you upstream to take you upstream for a nominal fee. There is also a Vaishnavi who could be happy to accompany you there. When Chandidas informed Damayanti about their son's proposal, she became very happy. Both of them concluded, our children have become thoughtful and courteous since our talk that day. We are strong enough to walk, so let us make the pilgrimage to Sridham Navadvip via Kalna and Shantipur. Having selected an auspicious day, the couple set out on their pilgrimage, taking the Vaishnav with them. The next day, after walking a distance, they arrived at Ambika Kalna. There they cooked for themselves in a shop and sat down to eat. So this Ambika Kalna apparently is a very nice place. There Gauridas Pandit was present. Gauridas Pandit. Ambika Kalna. Ambika Kalna. So we sing that song. Devadi Deva Gaura Chandra Gauridasa Mandire Nityananda Sange Gaura Ambika Te Bihare Charu Aruna Gunjahara Rutkamale Jedhare Virinchi Sevya Pada Padma Lakshmi Sevya Sadare Tapta Hema Anga Kanti Pratarunambare Radhikano Raga Prema Bhakti Vancha Je Kare Shachi Suta Gaura Chandra Anandita Antare Pashanda Khanda Nityananda Sange Range Bihare Nityananda Gaura Chandra Gauridasa Mandire Gauridasa Karata Asha Sarva Jiva Uddhare. Actually, in Ambika Kalna, there are deities of Gaur Nityananda Prabhu. Gauridas Pandit, who was Subal Sakha in Krishna pastimes, used to live there. Suryadas Sarkhela, the father-in-law of Nityananda Prabhu, also used to live there. The Lord of Lords, Sri Gaurachandra, along with Nityananda Prabhu, is pleasurably engaged in his pastimes in Gauridas Pandit's house in Ambika Kalna. Gaurasundar adorns himself with a very beautiful red Gunja Mala, which falls over his lotus heart. Brahma and Lakshmi worship his lotus feet with great respect. So, Gunja Mala. Gunja is actually seeds, red seeds. Tapta Hema Anga Kanti. His body shines brilliant like molten gold, and his cloth is saffron like the rising sun. He desires that Prem Bhakti like the Anuraga of Srimati Radhika. The son of Shachi, Gaurasundar, who is so joyful inside, is roaming about with Nityananda Prabhu, defeating the atheist. Nityananda and Gaurasundar are both staying in the house of Gauridas, who hopes that they will deliver all the jivas. So here, you see how this glorious, this Ambika Kalna, where the deities, original deities of Gaur Nityananda, they are not different from Gaur Nityananda. There they cooked for themselves in a shop and sat down to eat. While they were taking their meal, a resident of Saptagram who knew them approached and informed them, Your sons have broken the lock to your room and have taken all your possessions. They will not allow you to re-enter the house. They have also found your hidden wealth and have divided it among themselves. When Chandidas and Damayanti received this news, they were stricken with grief over the loss of their wealth. They were unable to eat a single morsel and spent the entire day crying incessant tears. After some time, the Vaishnavi attendant tried to console them, saying, "Don't be attached to your home. Come, you can take up the life of Vaishnava ascetics. Build a simple ashram where Vaishnavas can gather and live. The children for whom you have sacrificed everything have become your enemies, so there is no need to return home. Let us go to Navadvip and remain there. You can maintain yourselves by accepting alms. That will be much better life." When Damayanti and Chandidas thought of the behavior of their sons and daughters-in-law, they said again and again, "It would be better for us to die than to return home." In the end, they stayed for a few days at the home of a Vaishnava in the village of Ambika. After they went to Sri Shantipur and finally arrived in Sri Navadvip Dham. They stayed in Sri Mayapur for a few days with a merchant relative and began to tour the 7 localities of Navadvip on the bank of the Ganga, as well as the 7 localities of Kuliagram on the other side of the river. After a few days, however, their attachment for their sons and daughters-in-law resurfaced. Chandidas said to his wife, "Come, let us return home to Saptagram. After all, they are our sons. One day, won't they show us even a little affection?" Their Vaishnavi attendant said emphatically, "Have you no dignity? This time they will take your life." When the old couple heard this, they saw the truth in her words and became apprehensive. "Oh, respected Vaishnavi," they said, "you may return to your own place. We have enough discrimination now. We'll maintain our existence by begging, approach a qualified person for instruction, and engage in Bhagavad Bhajan." The Vaishnavi attendant left, and the merchant couple, having now given up all hope of returning to their former home in Saptagram, began to build a new home in the area of Kuliagram, where Chakori Chattopadhyay had lived. Chakori Chattopadhyay. Having contributions and instructions from many gracious and well-mannered people, they built a cottage and began to live there permanently. Kuliagram is known as the holy place where offenses are eradicated. This is called Aparad Bhanjan Path. And the long-standing belief was that all of one's previous offenses would be dispelled if one lived there. One day Chandidas said, "Oh, mother of Hari," means Hari was one of his sons. Generally in Vedic culture, you don't call your wife by her name, right? So he is addressing his wife, Damayanti, not as Damayanti, but as mother of Hari. "Don't speak about our children anymore. Don't even think of them. We took birth in a merchant family because of many previous offenses. And due to our defective birth, we became misers and never rendered any service to guests or to Vaishnavas. Now, if you obtain any wealth here, we'll certainly use it to serve guests so that we may attain auspiciousness in our next life. I have been thinking of opening a grocery shop. I will beg some money from a few gentlemen and begin this work." Within a short time, Chandidas opened a small store and managed to make some profit every day. The couple began to serve one guest daily in addition to feeding themselves, and thus their life passed much more pleasantly than before. Chandidas had previously been educated and now he sat in his shop and read Gudaraj Khan's Sri Krishna Vijay. Gudaraj Khan, actually, amazing book. This Krishna Vijay was very dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Krishna Vijay. So this one actually, Acharya Keshari, Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, his life and teachings, 6th part. There is mention of this. In Shri Krishna Vijay, Shri Gunaraj Khan wrote the line, Nandanandan Krishna Mora Prananatha. Nandanandan Krishna is the Lord of my life. Quoted in Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 15.100. And for this utterance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sold himself forever into the hands of Shri Gunaraj Khan's descendants. Why then would he not sell himself to the parampara of those disciples and grand disciples for whom Nandan Narta Gopal is their most worshipful Lord? Now, this discussion is coming about Madhvacharya. Many people said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu founded his own sampradaya. He did not accept Madhva Sampradaya. But actually, Madhvacharya, he manifested and worshipped Shri Nandanandan Nartak Gopal in Udupi. When Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had darshan of the deity, he became overwhelmed with ecstatic love and began to dance. He had not seen such a deity anywhere else during his tour of South India. This is also powerful evidence for his being in Madhva's line. In South India, you will not see a deity like in Udupi. Udupi actually very wonderful Krishna. So Gundaraj Khan has written like this in Krishna Vijay, that Nandanandan Krishna is my life, and Mahaprabhu was very happy with that. This book Krishna Vijay, we can also study. Madhya Leela 15.99 mentions his name. Guraraja Khan Kaila Shri Krishna Vijaya Tae Kavakya Tandre Ache Premamoy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, Gunaraj Khan of Kulina Gram compiled a book named Shri Krishna Vijay, in which there is a sentence revealing the author's ecstatic love of Krishna. Purport by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Shri Krishna Vijay is a book of poems considered to be the first poetry book written in Bengal. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that this book was begun in the year 1395 Shakabda, means Christian era, 1473 AD. After 7 years, it was completed in 1402 Shakabda. This book was written in plain language, and even half-educated Bengalis and women could read it very clearly. Even ordinary men with little knowledge of the alphabet could read this book and understand it. Its language is not very ornamental, and sometimes the poetry is not very sweet to hear. Although, according to the sonnet style, each line should contain 14 syllables, there are sometimes 16, 12, or 13 syllables in his verse. Many words used in those days could be understood only by local inhabitants. Yet this book is still so popular that no bookstore is complete without it. It is very valuable for those who are interested in advancing in Krishna consciousness. Shri Gundaraj Khan was one of the topmost Vaishnavas, and he translated the 10 and 11 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam for the understanding of the common man. This book, Shri Krishna Vijay, was highly praised by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is very valuable for all Vaishnavas. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives a genealogical table and family history of Gundaraj Khan. When a Bengali emperor named Adi Shur first came to Kanyakubja or Kanauj, he brought with him 5 Brahmanas and 5 Kayasthas. Since the king is supposed to be accompanied by his associates, the Brahmanas accompanied the king to help him in higher spiritual matters. The Kayasthas were to render other services. In the northern Indian high country, the Kayasthas are accepted as Shudras. But in Bengal, the Kayasthas are considered among the higher caste. It is a fact that the Kayasthas came to Bengal from northern India, specifically from Kanyakubja or Kanauj. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the Kayasthas who came from Kanyakubja were high-class men. Of them, Dasharath Vasu was a great personality, and the 13th generation of his family included Gundaraj Khan. His real name was Maladhar Vasu, but the title Khan was given to him by the Emperor of Bengal. Thus he became known as Gundaraj Khan. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following genealogical table of Gundaraj Khan. Number 1, Dasharath Vasu, Kushal, Shubha Shankara, Hamsa, Shaktiram Bangada, Muktiram Mainagar, and Alankar Pangaj, Damodar, Anantaram, Guninayak, and Vinan Nayak. The 12th generation included Bhagirath and the 13th Maladhar Vasu or Gulraj Khan. Shri Gulraj Khan had 14 sons, of whom the second son, Lakshminath Vasu, received the title Satyaraj Khan. His son was Shri Ramananda Vasu. Therefore, Ramananda Vasu belonged to the 15th generation. Gulraj Khan was a very well known and wealthy man. His palace, fort, and temples are still existing, and from these we can deduce that the opulence of Gulraj Khan was certainly very great. Shri Gulraj Khan never cared for the artificial aristocracy introduced by Ballal Sen. Nandan Krishna Mora Prananath Eivake Bikaino Taravamshirat. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is my life and soul. By this statement, I am sold into the hands of the descendants of Gulraj Khan. The full verse referred to here is Ekabhave Vandahari Joda Karihat Nandanandan Krishna Mora Prananath. With folded hands, I offer my prayers to Krishna, Nandan Maharaj's son, who is my life and soul. So here, he used to read this Sri Krishna Vijay, Chandidas. Whenever he found time, he ran his shop honestly and served guests hospitably. 5 or 6 months passed in this manner. And when the people of Kulia came to know of Chandidas' previous history, they began to develop faith in him. In his village lived a Grasta Brahman named Yadav Das, who lectured every day on Shri Chaitanya Mangal. Chandidas occasionally went to hear these lectures, and when he and Damayanti saw that Yadav Das and his wife were always engaged in serving the Vaishnavas, they also became inspired to do the same. One day Chandidas inquired from Yadav Das, what is this material existence? Yadav Das said, many learned Vaishnavas live on the eastern bank of the Bhagirathi, Ishi Godrumati. Come, let us go there and inquire from them. I also go there from time to time and receive many instructions. At present, the Vaishnava scholars of Sri Godrum are more expert than the Brahman scholars in the conclusions of the Shastras. Some days ago, Sri Vaishnavadas Babaji defeated the Brahman Panditas of the area in a debate. A deep question like yours can be resolved more satisfactorily there. Yadav Das and Chandidas prepared to cross the Ganga in the afternoon. Damayanti now regularly served pure Vaishnavas, and the miserliness in her heart had become negligible. I will go with you to Sri Godrum, she said. The Vaishnavas there are not Grastas, said Yadav Das. They adopted a life of strict renunciation and are detached from all relations with women. I am concerned that if you come along with us, they will be displeased. Damayanti replied, I will offer Dandar Pranam to them from a distance. I will not enter their grove. I am an old lady. They will never become angry with me. Yadav Das agreed but cautioned, it is not the custom for ladies to go there. Anyway, we can take you there to sit in a nearby place, and we'll bring you back with us when we return. By late afternoon, the three of them crossed the Ganga and reached Pradyumna Kunja. Damayanti offered prostrated Dandavat Pranam at the door of the Kunja and sat nearby under an old banyan tree. Yadav Das and Chandidas entered the Kunja and with great devotion offered Dandavat Pranam to the assembly of Vaishnavas who were seated in the Malti Madhavi Bhavar. Paramahamsa Babaji was seated in the midst of the assembly, surrounded by Shri Vaishnava Das, Lahiri Mahasaya, Anantadas Babaji, and many others. Chandidas sat close to Yadav Das. Anantadas Babaji looked at Yadav Das and asked, who is this new man? Yadav Das narrated the whole story of Chandidas. Anantadas Babaji smiled and said, yes, this is what is known as material existence. One who knows material existence is actually wise. And those who fall into the cycle of material existence are pitiable. Chandidas' mind was gradually becoming purified. For when one performs Nitya Sukruti, such as hosting Vaishnavas and reading and hearing Vaishnava Shastras, he certainly attains auspiciousness and very easily develops Shraddha in Ananya Bhakti, exclusive devotion. When he heard Shri Anantadas Babaji's words, Chandidas said with a softened heart, "My humble prayer is that you will be merciful to me and clearly explain what is this material existence." Anantadas Babaji said, "Your question is very deep, and I desire that Shri Paramahamsa Babaji Mahasaya or Shri Vaishnadas Babaji Mahasaya should answer it." Paramahamsa Babaji said, "Shri Anantadas Babaji Mahasaya is suitably qualified to answer a question of such gravity. Today we'll all listen to his instructions." Anantadas: "When I receive your order, I must certainly say whatever I know. I shall begin by remembering the lotus feet of my Gurudev Shri Pradyumna Brahmachari, a confidential associate of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." So actually, she is a Pradyumna Brahmachari. He was actually associate of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amazing devotee actually. He was an Pradyumna Brahmachari. He was, I think, devotee of Shri Narsingadev. There were Mahapurushas. So in Prabandha Panchakam also it is told that among those who had taken shelter of the lotus feet of Sriman Mahaprabhu, not all were Nishkinchan Paramahamsa Goswamis and not all were indifferent to Varnashram system. So not everyone was sannyasi in Mahaprabhu's followers. There were Mahapurushas in all categories. Brahmacharis such as Nakul Brahmachari and Shri Pradyumna Brahmachari. There are two prominent followers of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there were Grasta devotees like Shri Advaita Acharya, Shivas Pandit, Shri Shivananda Sen and Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. Sannyasis such as Shri Paramananda Puri and Shri Rangapuri and Brahmananda Bharati. And prominent Nishkinchan Mahabhagavas such as Shri Rupa and Sanatan. However, there was not even a trace of attachment or identification with Varnashram or Vesh in any of them. So external trace doesn't matter. It is attachment to Mahaprabhu. So Pradyumna Brahmachari, actually great devotee, Pradyumna Brahmachari. So the jivas exist in two states, liberated state and mukta dasha, and the state of material bondage, samsara baddha dasha. Those jivas who are pure bhaktas of Shri Krishna and who have never been bound by Maya or who were liberated from material existence by the mercy of Krishna are known as mukta jivas. So basically, we are talking about two types of jivas. Those are bound and those are liberated. Baddha and mukta. Actually, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he started one school actually, Sanskrit school. And in that he said, in the present age, Sanskrit education is being disrespected. But without Sanskrit, the welfare of the people is impossible. Actually, that's why sometimes I feel, everyone should study Sanskrit. Because Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj is studying. Without Sanskrit, the welfare of the people is impossible. The word Sanskrit means refined. People who do not know Sanskrit are not qualified to study Vedic knowledge. They are unqualified for higher education. Higher education means to worship of Bhagavan. In this worship, the language, the Diksha mantras, the Maha mantra, and so on are all in Sanskrit. Shri Gaudiya Chatushpathi is open for all the eternal liberation of the Baddha Jivas and for the expression of transcendental moods in a very refined language. Jagat Guru Srila Jiva Goswami composed a transcendental Sanskrit grammar called Shri Harinamamrit Vyakaran to expand the education of youths. Reading and studying Shri Harinamamrit Vyakaran is provided to awaken the memory of Shri Goswami Pad in the heart of all Jivas. An important sutra in this Vyakaran is Narayanat Udbhutoyam Varnakrama. All the Varnas are born from Narayan. There is no difference between the Varna letter of a word and the Varna caste of the Jivas. Therefore, creation and destruction and so forth are explained by Namvadi or Spotavadi words. Namvadi or Spotavadi words. In the Vishuddha Sattvat Saraswat line coming from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, even those who are born from low and untouchable families can become perfect and qualified to perform transcendental seva from Sriman Mahaprabhu. So basically, the first aphorism of this Harinama is Narayanat Udbhutoyam Varnakama. So Varnas in Sanskrit means the syllables. A, I, U, Ka, Ka, Ga, 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 Cha, 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 Cha. All these have come from Narayan. And also it means there are 4 Varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. They also have come from Narayan. So everyone is qualified to serve Narayan. This is very nice meaning is giving. Spotavada. The Spotavada actually Spotavada Shrunkalaika Bhitti Krishna Vikshana. So anyways, the two conditions are there, Baddha Jivas and Mukta Jivas. So those Jivas who are pure Bhaktas of Krishna and who have never been bound by Maya or were liberated from material existence by the mercy of Krishna are known as Mukta Jivas. So Mukta Jivas are also 2 types. They are Anadi Mukta, means like eternal associates of Krishna who are never bound. And there are some who are Sadhan Siddha, they got perfected by Sadhan Bhajan and they got liberated. The liberated state of existence is known as Mukta Dasha. The Baddha Jivas, on the other hand, are those who are oblivious to Sri Krishna and have fallen into the clutches of Maya since time without beginning. The conditional state of existence is known as Samsara Baddha Dasha. The Jivas who are liberated from Maya are Chinmay, fully spiritual, and their very life is service to Krishna, Krishna Dasya. They do not reside in this material world, but in one of the pure spiritual worlds, such as Golok, Vaikuntha, or Vrindavan. There are innumerable Jivas who are liberated from Maya. The Jivas who are bound by Maya are also innumerable. Due to their Krishna Vimukata, defect of alienation from Krishna, Krishna's shadow potency known as Chaya Shakti or Maya binds the Jiva with her 3-stranded ropes consisting of the 3 qualities of material nature, namely Sattva-gun, goodness, Rajogun, passion, and Tamogun, ignorance. The conditioned souls appear in a variety of states of existence according to the influence of the various gradations of these gunas. So basically the first fault is Krishna Vimukata. So Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, whose appearance they will be celebrating, he is written actually glorification of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Are ke shunave Krishna katha jatana kariya, Krishna vimukata te kari savadhana, ke dibe abhaya vani sneha vitariya, atmara charama gati karabe sandana. Who will now take care to explain Krishna to us, warning us not to be indifferent to the Lord's service? Now he is actually, Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj is crying in separation of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada disappeared from this world and his disciple Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj is now weeping. He is telling, who now will take care to explain Krishna to us, warning us not to be indifferent to the Lord's service? Who will affectionately assure us not to be afraid, and who will direct us to the ultimate destination of the soul? Basically, Guru will do that. Guru is always trying to take us away from Krishna Vimukata. Although the Jiva is by nature an eternal servant of Bhagavan, because his face has been averted from the Lord, Bhagavad Vimukta, from a time without beginning, Anadikal, he has been wandering in various species of life. He is thus being scorched by the threefold miseries of material existence. It's also the same thing in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu also it is told. Bhagavad Vimukata. So this is a big problem. We are Vimuk to Bhagavan. By the causeless mercy of the ocean of mercy, Shri Bhagavan or his devotees, the Jiva attains Sadhu Sangha. By the potency of that Sadhu Sangha, the Jiva offers himself at the lotus feet of Shri Gurudev. By bestowing the Krishna mantra, Shri Gurudev dispels the Jiva's aversion towards the Lord, Bhagavat Vimukta, and directs his attention towards the performance of Bhagavad Bhajan. He gives Sambandha Gyan concerning Bhagavad Tattva, Jiva Tattva and Maya Tattva, and awakens the dormant inclination of the Jiva to serve the Lord, Bhagavad Unmukhata. So Gurudev takes away Vimukata and gives us Unmukhata. As a consequence of this, the Papa, Bija and Avidya of the Sadhaka are all destroyed to the root. This procedure of Diksha is not completed in one day, rather it is begun from the day of initiation. So we shouldn't think we are initiated. We should think that we have entered the process of Diksha. Diksha is a very long process. Understand? So Bhagavad Vimukhata. So that is the original problem actually. We are averse to Bhagavan. Bhagavad Vimukhata. The living entity is Chetan, conscious. The principal meaning of the word Chetan is that the living entity has independence. But when the Jiva misuses his independence and remains uninterested in the Lord, is bound in the perishable kingdom of Maya. This is Durdaiva. Mahaprabhu said, Durdaiva Midrushya Jani Nanduraga. So what is Durdaiva? We misuse our independence and remain uninterested in the Lord. This is our Durdaiva, misfortune. The word Durdaiva refers to the living entity's apathy towards the service of Bhagavan, known as Bhagavad Seva Vimukta. This is our Durdaiva. So here a very nice thing is explained. What is Bhagavad? We have forgotten Bhagavan. So this is our Vimukhata. So the Jivas who are bound by Maya are also innumerable. Due to their Krishna Vimukhata, effect of alienation from Krishna, Krishna's shadow potential in Chaya Shakti or Maya binds the Jiva with her three-stranded ropes consisting of the three qualities of material nature, namely Sattvagun, goodness, Rajogun, passion, and Tamogun, ignorance. The conditioned souls appear in a variety of states of existence according to the influence of the various gradations of these gunas. Just consider the varieties in the Jiva's bodies, moods, appearance, natures, living conditions, and movements. When a Jiva enters material existence, he takes on a new type of egoism. In the pure state of existence, the Jiva has the egoism of being a servant of Krishna. But in the conditioned state, many different types of egoism arise, making the living entity think, I am a human being, I am a devata, I am an animal, I am a king, I am a Brahman, I am an outcast, I am deceased, I am hungry, I am honored, I am charitable, I am a husband, I am a wife, I am a father, I am a son, I am an enemy, I am a friend, I am a scholar, I am handsome, I am wealthy, I am poor, I am happy, I am sad, I am strong, I am weak. These attitudes are known as ahanta, which literally means the sense of I-ness or false egoism. So basically, this is a false egoism. Actually, we are not anything of this. We are servants of Krishna. That's all. So this egoism, the true egoism should be there. So this is a true egoism is that I am servant of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada further clarifies this distinction by writing the following: the conditioned soul absolutely must achieve perfection in the mantra in order to rid himself of his material ego and his tendency for sense gratification. The word nama is interpreted as follows. Ma means ahankara and na negates this egoism. Through perfection of the chanting of the mantra siddhi, one gains direct experience of the transcendental reality. Thus, Sri Rupa Goswami sings in his Navashtakam, addressing the holy name as such. Ai mukta kule rupasamanam. Oh holy name, you are worshipped by the liberated souls. So basically, we have this egoism. But the word nama in the mantra, Krishnaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha, Madhavaya Namaha. Namaha means actually, Ma means ahankar, Na means negating this egoism. So we need perfection in chanting Diksha mantras so that we can get rid of this egoism. Understand? So give up udapasya, all pride and egoism, anger, hatred, jealousy, resentment, and other faults, and accept the verdict of the devotee Bhagavad and the book Bhagavad. Oh brother, come and we'll surrender ourselves to the feet of our spiritual master, Aishi Gauranga. So, Jnane Prayas Udapasya Namanta, giving up false egoism, actually. Giving up all the false ego, we should surrender to Krishna. Amita Vaishnava e buddhi haile amani nahabami pratishtha shashi rudaya doshibe haiba niraya gami. Another type of egoism is, if I think that I have become a Vaishnava, then I will never be prideless. The desire for prestige will descend on my heart and contaminate it, and I will go to hell. So we have to give up this egoism. So here it is told that beside this ahanta, another function known as mamata, possessiveness, or the sense of myness, enters the nature of jiva. This is exemplified in attitudes such as, this is my house, these are my possessions, this is my wealth, this is my body, these are my children, this is my wife, this is my husband, this is my father, this is my mother, this is my caste, this is my race, this is my strength, this is my beauty, this is my quality, this is my learning, this is my renunciation, this is my knowledge, this is my wisdom, this is my work, this is my property, these are my servants and dependents. The colossal affair that brings the conception of I and mine into place, known as samsara, material existence, I and mine. Understand? Yadav Das, the conception of I and mine are active in the conditioned state, but do they also exist in the liberated state? Anand Das, they do, but in the liberated state, they are spiritual and free from all defects. Liberated state. So basically, I and mine will always be there, understand? But we have to have this, that I belong to Krishna, or Krishna belongs to me. I am servant of Krishna. This is the real ego, understand? But our Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, they are the crown jewels of liberated souls. And like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is actually a Nitya Siddha Parikar of Shri Krishna, an eternal associate of the Lord. Understand? And not only that, he is Krishna Priya, Shri Varshabhani Devi's most beloved. So they don't have this false ego, ahanta, mamata. They are completely freed. They are liberated persons. And Mahaprabhu associates also liberated persons. So basically, Krishna Nam is also liberated. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nature of Shri Nam is described. Nama Chintamani is Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukta Vinnatva Nama Namino. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Purvi Bhag 2.233. Shri Krishna Nam is Chintamani, a transcendental wish fulfilling gem. For it is Shri Krishna Chaitanya himself, the personification of Rasa. It is complete beyond illusion and eternally liberated because Krishna Nam and Nami, Krishna himself, are non-different. So basically, Krishna Nam and Nami are non-different. So therefore, Krishna is always liberated. So Krishna Nam is also always liberated. And those who chant the Krishna Nam, they also become liberated. What to speak of chanting? Even one who hears Krishna Nam at once is liberated from material existence. Those who take the name of Bhagavan while coming or going, slipping means falling down, falling, sneezing, or in any other way, will not have to taste the dire sufferings of repeated birth and death. So if anyone chants Krishna Nam and is free from ungodly qualities, opposed to bhakti, it is certainly proper Vaishnava behavior to honor him mentally, whether he is initiated or not. Understand? So in the liberated state, in the spiritual world, the jiva becomes acquainted with his pure nature exactly as it was created by Bhagwan. In the spiritual abode, there are many different types of real egoism, each with its own characteristic sense of I. So there are also many types of chidras, transcendental exchanges of sentiments. All the different Chinmay Upakaranas, spiritual paraphernalia, which form the constitutional ingredients of rasa, come under the heading of mind. Yadavdas. Then what is the defect in the different conceptions of I and mind that exist in the conditioned state? Hmm. Anandadas. The defect is that in the pure state, the conceptions of I and mind are real, whereas in the material existence, they are all imaginary or imposed upon the living entity. That means that these conceptions are not actually aspects of the jiva, but are all false identities and relationships. Consequently, all varieties of material identification in mundane existence are impermanent and unreal and only cause momentary happiness and distress. Hmm. So basically, we don't have any real relationship in this material world. Our relationship with Guru and Vaishnavas. So these relationships are also momentary, actually. Everything in this material world is momentary. Krishna is also telling us in Bhagavad Gita. Matra sparshastha kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama payino nityastam titikshasva bharata. Kaunteya, when the senses come in contact with the sense objects, one experiences cold, heat, happiness, and distress. Such experiences are flickering and temporary, and therefore, O Bharat, you must learn to tolerate them. So, good or bad experience, they are temporary. We have to learn to tolerate good or bad. Everything in this material world is temporary, actually. And also, sense gratification also temporary. Actually, Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam also. Calm is the root cause of lamentation and distress and has been compared to fire. Lust is actually the root cause of lamentation and distress. And this calm or lust is compared to fire. Kama nalam madhulavai shamayan durape. Srimad Bhagavatam 7 Canto 9 chapter 25th verse. Calm can never be satisfied by enjoying the sense objects. It is like a fire which cannot be extinguished by drops of honey in the form of momentary satisfaction. So you will get little satisfaction in sense gratification, but it cannot extinguish the desire. And desire will keep on increasing. So actually, in this material world, everything is momentary. And happiness also momentary. So we are advised that we should not engage in sense gratification, rather do bhajan. So is this deceptive material existence false? No. This deceptive world is not false. It is a reality. By Krishna's will, it is the jiva's conception of I and mind. When he enters the material world, that is false. Those who believe that this world is false are Mayavadis, advocates of the theory of illusion. Such people are offenders. So world is not false, but the sense of possessiveness that this world belongs to me, is my property, and this sense of ownership is false. But material world is not false. Understand? Like Mayavadi say, Brahmam Satya Jagan Mithya Jiva Brahma even Apara. No, but material world is not false, but the sense of possession towards it is false. So why have we fallen into this illusory relationship? Anandadas, Bhagwan is the complete spiritual entity, Purna Chit Vastu. And the jivas are particles of spirit, Chitka. The jiva's first location is on the boundary line between the material and spiritual worlds. The jivas who do not forget their relationship with Krishna are empowered with Chit Shakti and are drawn from that position into the spiritual realm, where they become his eternal associates and begin to relish the bliss of his service. Those jivas who turn away from Krishna desire to enjoy Maya, and Maya attracts them towards her by her potency. From that moment, our material state of existence come into being, and our true spiritual identity disappears. We therefore think, I am the enjoyer of Maya. This false egoism covers us with many varieties of false identities. So Yadav Das, why is it that our true identity does not become manifest despite significant endeavor? Ananda Das, there are two types of endeavor, appropriate and inappropriate. Appropriate endeavors are still will certainly dissipate false egoism. But how can inappropriate endeavor do so? Yadav Das, what are the inappropriate endeavors? Some people think that their hearts will be purified if they follow karma kanda, and that they will be liberated from Maya when they practice Brahma Gyan. This type of endeavor is inappropriate. Others say that by practicing Ashtanga Yoga, they will enter a trance of Samadhi Yoga and attain perfection. This is another inappropriate endeavor. There are many other types as well. So, this is a nice discussion. So, we are now page number 134. In PDF, page number 182, 134 or 182. So, we'll stop here this today. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpataru Kripa Sindhu Vaja Pradhanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. If anyone has any comments or questions, please let me know. Hare Krishna. All right. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpataru Kripa Sindhu Vaja Pradhanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Prams. Thank you.
That was the Hare Krishna.
I don't think there's any question. There's a Mataji that unmuted. Geeta Mata.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat.
Dandavat Ram.
Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Nice to hear from you. Dandavat. Hare Krishna.
Even nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Didi. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Where are you now?
Now in Tirupati.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, Vishaka Didi, we have started this Telegram group. So, recording you should forward to me or directly put in that group, Hare Krishna audio group. So that in future we can refer to them. Yes.
Okay, Marge. Marge, you sent me Java Dharma 134 and 182. Is it next week's page to start from?
Yeah. We'll begin from next week. We might forget, so keep this in recorded. Java Dharma 134, 182.
Sure, I'll get Anand Prabhu to start. That's why I created another group so that we can go and put our work on. And then the previous Java Dharma classes you did, I'm just trying to catch up with Gurudev's YouTube channel and also your classes that we have in the week. And once I'm done with that, then I'm going to go on to the Java Dharma one. So then I'll need a little bit of help who recorded from the beginning because I'm only starting today. And so I'll need titles, descriptions, and dates so I can add it to the YouTube and make posters as well and put it up.
Wonderful. This actually, Java Dharma is a good book.
Yes.
This is Srila Gurudev. He very much liked Jaiva Dharma, and he told everyone for us to read Jaiva Dharma, and also so many books are there. Like Srila Gurudev writes that sometimes Shri Vinod Bihari Brahmachari had to go on long journeys in the course of managing the branch Gaudiya Mathas of her preaching. At those times, he invariably kept with him Jaiva Dharma, special issues of the Sri Gaudiya Tattva Sandarbha and other philosophical works. He especially absorbed himself in studying these books during train trips. So when Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj also during his journeys used to study Jaiva Dharma with Tattva Sandarbha and other books. At that time, novice Matha residents were prohibited from reading and studying Srila Jiva Goswami's Sandarbhas, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan's Govinda Bhashya, Bhashya Pitaka, and other literature. It was also considered inappropriate for neophyte devotees to study the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Only those few devotees who possess the ability to understand Tattva Gyan, knowledge of reality, were permitted to study these books with a qualified Vaishnava. So, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami was also very much like Jaiva Dharma. He always studied that. So there's so many deep secrets in Jaiva Dharma. It's one of the important books actually. What is Jaiva Dharma actually? The Nitya Dharma, the eternal occupation of the Jiva is to be my eternal servant. Bhagavan is telling that the Nitya Dharma or eternal occupation of the Jiva is to be my eternal servant. This is called Prema or Nishkam Jaiva Dharma, the eternal function of the Jiva whose motivation is unalloyed. Every conscious being is by his constitutional nature endowed with free will. Thus he is my eternal servant by his own free will. According to the degree to which he properly uses this free will, he can act as my eternal servant. The misuse of that free will is called avidya or kama. Those jivas who do not serve me by correctly using their free will have to accept kama or enjoying mood, which is the perverted form of the jiva's pure state prema. So kama is service to the Lord, and the prema means service to the Lord, and kama means to satisfy one's own senses. It represents misuse of free will. Understand? So their swarupa becomes acharita chetan, covered consciousness, as they are covered more and more by kama. So basically, our swarupa is covered if we engage in kama or sense gratification, and this is called karma bandhan, the bondage of jiva, or samsara yatana, the suffering of the birth and death. Understand? So misuse of the free will. God has given us free will. So basically, the jiva is my constant companion. He becomes close to me when he becomes situated purely in his marginal nature. This marginal nature is his independence. The perfection of Jaiva Dharma, the eternal occupation of the jiva, is to achieve pure love for me by using his marginal independent nature. When the jiva misuses that independent nature, he enters the material field. Even then, I become his companion as Paramatma, and therefore I alone am the witness, the permitter, the supporter and protector, and Maheshwar, the supreme controller of all the jiva's actions. Thus, by the name Paramatma, I am always present in the body as Param Purusha. I award the result of whatever karma is performed by the jiva in his conditioned state. So, Jaiva Dharma. Jaiva Dharma is jiva's dharma actually. So that's why this book very, very important. And especially Navadvip Dham glories are actually described in Jaiva Dharma. In Jaiva Dharma, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that residence anywhere within the 32-mile radius of Sri Navadvip, and in particular within Mayapur, is identical to residence within Sri Vrindavan. Of the 7 holy places that yield liberation, namely Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi, Avantika and Dwarka, Mayapur is the chief. The reason for this is that in Mayapur, Sriman Mahaprabhu has manifested his eternal abode of Shvetadip. So basically, Jaiva Dharma, actually the glories of Navadvip are also mentioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So that's why our Jaiva Dharma, our eternal occupation is actually Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti is the only transcendental occupation for the living entities, and is therefore called the eternal constitutional occupation of the living entity, Jaiva Dharma. Jaiva Dharma, the word, will be translated as the eternal constitutional occupation of the living entities. All other constitutional activities apart from these are engagements arising from the influence of material designations. So basically, Jaiva Dharma means pure devotional service. So basically, so one time a discussion was going on. In the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. He's reading from the books of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Upadeshamrut. This is called Shravana Dasha, the stage of hearing. by constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities and pastimes, one can attain to the stage of acceptance called Varanadasha. First Shravanadasha, then Varanadasha. First hear it and then accept it. Varanadasha. What are these pastimes? We are not qualified to hear Krishna Katha. Someone may say, what are the pastimes? Oh, he has written in Krishna book. All the pastimes are there. For whom has he written Krishna book? For whom? For all who are neophyte. Who are neophyte? I am chanting for about 50 years. Am I neophyte or advanced? Advanced. No. If you have not advanced your Krishna consciousness to the stage of Uttam Adhikari or Madhyam Adhikari, you are still neophyte. Only talking about something is not enough. A certain level must be reached. Swamiji is saying this for neophytes of all others, that we should first engage in Shravanadasha. Hearing, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained all these 5 stages in the last part of Jaiva Dharma. These explanations are for advanced devotees as well as for neophytes. Then what is the difference? Any difference? There is no difference. It is the same thing. You will have to reconcile all these things. If you cannot reconcile, then you are bogus. So basically, Shravanadasha, then Varanadasha. That's why Gurudev is telling, first you should know Sri Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita, Vacho Vegam Manasa Kruta Vegam. Also read Manas Shiksha. First learn Tattva, Maya Tattva, Jiva Tattva, Krishna Tattva. Afterwards, if you have actual greed, then you can read those other books. Otherwise, if you don't learn these principles first, you will be lusty and you will be bound to deviate and give up bhajan and sadhana. We should read Jaiva Dharma. There, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained all the ideas of Srila Rupa Goswami. First, learn Trunadapi Sunichena Tarvapi Seshtuna Amanna Mandana Kirtana Sadhari. One can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. This was advised by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that this is Gauravani actually. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We sing Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Maharaj Pranam Mantra. Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshanyavadi Paschatishtarini. What is Gauravani? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also collected Gauravani in his Dashamul Shiksha. You should very carefully note its meaning in your heart. He wrote that Vani in Jaiva Dharma. His final and greatest book. It is final and greatest book, Gurudev is telling. Jaiva Dharma is an authentic literature and it is the essence of all the Vedas, Upanishads and Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and all the books of our Goswamis. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote there, Amnaya praha tattvam harimiha paramam sarvashaktim rasadhyam tad bhinnam shamsha jivan prakriti kavalitantam vimuktam shabhavat veda veda prakashakam sakalamapi hare sadhanam shuddha bhaktyam sadhyam tatpritim eveti upadishati janan Krishna Gaurachandra Swayam Sam. So this Dashamula Tattva, very, very important from Jaiva Dharma. That also will be discussing, understand. So, very, very important. He is the 7th Goswami. He is the 7th Goswami, and that's why we'll continue reading this book very carefully. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, there'll be, next class will be 29th, Didi, right?
Thursday, Maharaj, yes.
Thursday.
Maharaj, can you please make a poster for me and then I'll post it on Amrita Bindu Gurudev's group. And so whoever like to come, if they see the poster, maybe more devotees.
Sure. Didi, yeah. Yes.
It will be same platform, so same passwords and stuff.
Okay. Hare
Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare
And Mahan Jai Diwani, please. Thank you.
Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Radha Vinoda Bihari Ji Ki Jai.
Jai Jai
Om
Jai.
Vishnu Parashtotara Shata Shri Mad Bhakti Vedanta Vishnu Deti Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Parashtotara Shata Shri Mad Bhakti Vedanta Dandi Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai Jai.
Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnu Parashtotara Shata Shri Shri Mad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai Jai.
प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पारस्तोतर शता श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय.
Jai Jai.
प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पारस्तोतर शता श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज की जय.
Jai Jai Jai.
प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पारस्तोतर शता श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय.
Jai Jai Jai.
नित्य लील प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पारस्तोतर शता श्री श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय.
Jai Jai Jai.
नित्य लील प्रविष्ट परम भगवत प्रवारा श्री श्रील गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय.
Jai Jai
नित्य
Jai.
लील प्रविष्ट श्री श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय.
Jai Jai.
नित्य लील प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सर्वभौमा श्री श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय.
Jai Jai Jai.
आचार्य श्री श्रील बलदेव विद्याभूषण प्रभु की जय. श्रील विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय. श्रील नरोत्तम श्रीवास श्यामानंद प्रभुत्राय की जय. श्रील दास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय. श्री रूप सनातन रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल दास रघुनाथ सत गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय. मोदाराय रामानंदादि श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय. नाम लीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसति गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. अंतरद्वीप मायापुर सीमंत द्वीप गोद्रुम द्वीप मध्य द्वीप कोला द्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानु द्वीप मोहद्र ध्रुम द्वीप रुदति पद्मकार श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय. श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपाल गोपी गो गोवर्धन द्वादश वनत्मकार श्री व्रजमंडल की जय. श्री कुंद श्याम कुंद गंगा यमुना तुलसी भक्ति देव की जय. देव की जय. श्री पूर्णमा योग माया की जय. श्री ईश्वर महादेव की जय. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र जीव की जय. श्री मंडल की जय. सर्व विघ्न विनाशकार श्री नरसिंहदेव की जय. भक्त श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय. राम की जय. चार संप्रदाय की जय. चार की जय. अकर्मत श्री चैतन्य मात की जय. श्री शिवजी गौदिया मात हो तत्सकमत समूहा की जय. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. सामगामी भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री निताय प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल.
Hare Krishna. Jai Anand Mohan Prabhu ji ki jai jai. Thank you to all devotees. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Nangaman. Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Dev Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, devotees, for joining today. And we'll see you all on Thursday. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Vancha kalpatru vyasya kripa sindhu
Hare
Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, Jai Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.